I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Click on some things here. Give me just a second here, folks. Been a little discombobulated the last couple days. Oh my God, I don't have time for no time for the Gremlins tonight. I'll tell you that much for damn sure. Okay, I see what's going on. All right. Give me just a second here. Let me see if that's doing what I want it to do. It looks like it is. Okay. Welcome. Lights down. Let me turn this light down and we'll get ready. All right. Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 516th episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. It is good to be here with you. Good to see you all. Sorry we've had some delay here in the last couple of days. We've had a holiday to get through, and Kate's been under the weather. I had a headache and been under the weather. Unfortunately, Kate is not here this evening. So we are doing what we're doing. We're going to be going through the budget. I've got a pretty straightforward plot how we're going. You'll have to bear with me. There is no Kate, so we probably won't be putting up a lot of comments on the screen. You guys can talk to each other, have at it. I'll see your comments. We'll be able to talk. But I'm not going to be worrying about all of that. My main thing is going to be putting up the budgets and going through all of that stuff as we go. So give me 1 second here and let me pull up a couple things as we get ready. Hey. While we're waiting, while I'm pulling these things up and getting ready, I will tell you that it's been a busy couple of days, and we do have a busy week ahead of us. It is Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. It is 9:12 p.m. Eastern, so if you're here live, thank you, welcome. If you're here via the replay button in the future, welcome, welcome, welcome. No matter when you're here, we would ask that you please consider smashing that like button and doing that, you know what to do there. That would be fantastic. Okay. So in the next couple coming days, we've got a lot of different governmental things going on. So the Delaware County Commissioners meeting met today. I will watch that later. I've been in budget mode. Tomorrow we have the first Finance Committee meeting. We will be live streaming that. Okay, you will be able to see that. That's tomorrow, Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. There is then the second Finance Committee meeting, which will be Friday, September 5th, 2025. We will then have the Muncie City Council meeting scheduled on Monday, September 8th, 2025. The following day, we will have the third Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, September 9th. We then will wait 2 weeks after that until we have the fourth Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. All of the Finance Committee meetings starting at 6 p.m. The council meeting on Monday, the 8th, will start at 6:45 with a public hearing. And then it will top all off with the last budget related meeting, which will be the October 6th, 2025 Muncie City Council meeting. And those are all budget related. So we're going to be on the lookout for all of those. We will live stream all of those. You will be able to watch them right here at the Political Spotlight. You will be able to comment and put your thoughts in there, and we will be monitoring that and getting that information to the folks that need it if we at all possibly can. So keep that posted because we in your mind, because I definitely want people to know that we will be watching it and we will be asking questions if you all have questions. There are some serious things going on in this budget in this budget period that we need to be on the lookout for. There are a couple of things that are going on in this upcoming Muncie City Council meeting that we need to be aware of. And so I'm trying to think, well, we're going to do this straight out of the gate. Before we get to the budget, okay, the budget's probably important. It is definitely important. It's not probably important. It's definitely important. But before we get to the budget, I want to bring to your attention the agenda for the September 8th City Council meeting. And this will tie into the budget. Everything that we're going to be talking about tonight is going to tie into the City of Muncie 2026 proposed budget and the council members working through their budget process, the finance committees, and the voting on the budget, and everything tied into the proposed 2026 budget, taxpayer monies, Senate Bill 1, and things like that. And then at the very end, we're going to talk about an unfortunate email situation. So before we get started, though, into the budget, I feel like it's probably important that I bring this up because I want people to know we've got a ways out until the budget is going to be finalized. We've got all these meetings that we can deal with the budget. But we do have a city council meeting coming up on Monday. And they're going to be talking about something that's very important. It's going to be something that we need, that in my opinion, everyone needs to pay attention to. And we need to be prepared to talk to our elected officials. That means the mayor, people in the mayor's office, his appointees, and all 9 city councilors. Now, I'm going to tell you, I have been told by 2 sources. One source is inside City Hall. Okay. So it's safe to assume that this is an employee, all right, of City Hall, of Ridenour's city government. I will tell you, it is not a department head. So it's not like the police chief, the fire chief. It's not Amber Green. It's not the building commissioner. It is an employee. And this source told me about 2 weeks ago that it's going to be a downhill slope for the next 2 years. That Dan is going to have everything that he wants, everything that he desires. It's going to be a complete Dan free-for-all because he now controls the council 5-4. Okay. And really he doesn't. It's what it is we still have 3 Republicans. We've got 4 Democrats and 2 idiots. Okay. So 3 Republicans, 4 Democrats, and 2 idiots. And they're not Republicans. Let's be really honest. They're not Republicans. But they are so in this mold in their mind of, I've got to do everything that Dan wants. I've got to do everything that Dan says. I've got to do everything that these Republicans want for me to sit here and to be a part of them, that it's just going to be, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. So as far as we go on that, the only thing that we can do, me, our program, you guys, is we can continue to be the voice of opposition. And that's, some people say, well, what's the point? If he gets it, it's over. Let it know. You have to have the voice of opposition to what's going on. You can't just say, okay, they're, the lunatics are in control of the asylum and we're just okay with that. We have to stand up and say, no, we're not okay with this. So it's going to be a downhill ride for them. For Dan, it's going to be very easy. It's going to be an uphill fight for us on everything. It's absolutely everything. So I just want people to know that. I heard that about 2 weeks ago from an employee. I was talking to a city councilor today. One of the 9 city councilors. I was talking to one of the 9 city councilors. And this city councilor repeated the very same words. That city councilor said, there's going to be nothing that Dan wants that he's not going to get. And I want you to remember back to Dale Basham saying that his goal for the council was to be a voice and a vote for the mayor, that his goal was to get the mayor's agenda through and do whatever needed to be done to help do that. And that was disgusting when he said it. The thought of it is disgusting and frightening. It's disgusting today. That's not the point of a city councilor. That's not the point of a council. There should be some back and forth. It shouldn't just be all the way through. Every vote's going to be 5-4. What's funny here is we're going from a situation where for the last, from 2020 to 2023, most votes were 9-0, 8-0 if someone was absent, or maybe 8-1 or 7-2. Very, very few votes were, 5-4, 6-3 type votes. We're going to be in a situation here where still a lot of the fluff votes are going to be 9-0, 9-0, 9-0. But the votes that matter, the votes that we care about, okay, those things, those votes are all going to end 5-4 votes. We are not going to have a cohesive council that works together for the betterment of Muncie. We're going to have 4 people that are standing as complete opposition to everything Dan does, which is not good. It's not good to just oppose 100%. But then we're going to have 5 people that are going to be standing in complete 100% support of everything Dan does. And that's not good either. So that's not a good thing. I want to know about the supposed fossil fuel natural gas powered plant out by CanPack, Cheryl Swingley at the county commissioners meeting. I have no clue about any of that. Did not watch the commissioners meeting. I will watch the commissioners meeting tonight when I get off the show, and we'll have to talk about it later. I got to do city budget stuff today, but I will look into that, and whatever that is, I will take a look at what's going on, and we will dive into that. Just tonight's got to be a city-focused deal, but I will look into that, Tweety Bird, and I will watch that. I plan to watch that meeting this evening, so I will not leave you hanging on that, I promise. So it's just funny that I had a counselor tell me this today, because now, I know it's 100% true. I know it's 100% true. So, okay. And the first thing is, I was told sometime, let me ask you, anybody out there in Muncie land, has anybody heard, is the Station 6, the Fire Station 6, is it done? Are firemen living there? Have we paid our last bill? Is it over? I drove by there twice today. I drove by there once this afternoon when I was heading across town, south side, and then I drove by there just a little bit as I was coming back through. And I'll tell you, to me, it looks like they're still working on it. It's close, but it's still quite a ways from being done. I think Craig Wright told the Board of Works last Wednesday, I think he said something about October or November. I'll be shocked if that's true. Like, they might be done with the actual construction in October or November, but then they're going to have to outfit it and put in the furniture and do all of that. Like, it's not going to be livable. I will be very shocked if it's functionable by October or November. All right. In my mind, it's still quite a ways out. I might be wrong. I'm just telling you. I bring that up, and I want everybody to know that the point of tonight's show is going to be the proposed 2026 budget. And knowing right now we're saying things are going to be tight, money's going to be tight, issues, are going to be here. We're putting hiring freeze out for the city officials, city workers. We're asking people to go from full-time to part-time and doing all this other stuff. Okay. So I want you to keep that in mind as we go through this agenda here. This is the agenda for the Muncie City Council meeting that will take place a week from yesterday. This is the September 8th, 2025 agenda. You'll see there will be a public hearing at 6:45 p.m. The public hearing will go over ordinances 30-25, 31-25, and 32-25. And those 3 ordinances are the budget ordinances. 3025 is the ordinance for appropriations and tax rates proposed for the civil city budget. That's the City of Muncie's budget. Ordinance 3125 is an ordinance for appropriations and tax rates proposed 2026 Muncie, Indiana Transit System budget. That's MITS, the bus system. And then 3325 is an ordinance for appropriations and tax rates proposed in the 2026 Muncie Sanitary District budget. That's for the sanitary district. Okay. And at that time, citizens can get up and speak about anything that you hear in tonight's review, anything that you'll hear in tomorrow's Finance Committee meeting, and anything that you will hear in Friday's Finance Committee meeting. If you've gotten a copy of the budget yourself, you can go through it, and if you've got a question, you can get up and ask the questions of the budget or state your case during the public hearing. Now, the council at that time will not answer you. They will not address you. That's just your time to get up and speak. Okay. They don't answer you during the public hearing. They just sit there and they look, blah, 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 blah. All right. So after citizens who want to speak get up and speak at that time, the public on those three ordinances, the public hearing will then conclude, and we will go into the regularly stated meeting at 7 p.m. We will go through the Pledge of Allegiance. We will go through the invocation. We will go through the citizen recognition, and then they'll do the roll call. Hopefully all 9 councilors will be there. Approval of the minutes, appointments to boards and commissions, committee reports, ordinances previously introduced. Then we go into new ordinances. Okay, this is important. Ordinance 2625. Being an ordinance to amend the city of... Did I say this was an important one? I don't know if I just said that or I thought that in my mind. It's not to me in my mind. I don't know why I said that. I think I'm jumping ahead. 2625, being an ordinance to amend the City of Muncie comprehensive zoning ordinance from the R4 resident zone to the BC community business zone on premise located at 1600 North Wheeling. Where's this going to be? This is going to be right near Gaddis. Gaddis is 1717. So I don't know where this is going to be, but this will be interesting. Okay, I don't know what this is, but that'll be interesting to hear. Okay, ordinance number 2. It's 2725, being an ordinance to amend the City of Muncie comprehensive zoning ordinance from the R5 residential zone to the BC Central Business Zone, premises located at 718 North Walnut Street. So there's another one of those. And then 2825 is an ordinance of the City of Muncie amending the traffic schedule set forth in Chapter 80 of the City of Muncie codes. I think that they're going to ask for a speed limit drop for in a neighborhood. I think that's what that is. Ordinance 2925, an ordinance amending Chapter 80 traffic schedules of the Muncie Code of Ordinances, University Avenue parking. Okay, and then we go into Ordinance 3025, Ordinance 3125, and Ordinance 3225. This is when the council will read the ordinance about the budget for the City of Muncie, about the budget for MITS, and about the budget for the sanitary district. They'll do it one by one. They will read 3025. They will have a little bit of chit-chat about it. They will then open it up for citizens to have chit-chat about it. And at that time, they can answer the questions. Now, they might not, but they can definitely answer questions at that point if they so choose. And there can be back and forth. And then at some point when there's no more conversation about it, the council will do one of two things. They will vote to introduce it, or they can vote to table it. Now, Here's the problem. I don't like the fact that it only requires 2 votes to pass an ordinance in Muncie. I'm okay with them introducing it if that's what they have to do legally to have the finance committee meetings. I don't know that is because it's a public document. They've all seen it. So, here's what I would do and what I would push for if this is legal. Maybe I'll contact Dan Gibson tomorrow and find out. In my mind, I would table the introduction. I would then, if it is legal, have the finance committee meetings that we've had, have them all. And at the last finance committee meeting on the 23rd, I would then take it off the table and introduce it there. And then they can vote on it for the second time once they've got all of the nuts and bolts figured out at the October 6th meeting. It doesn't really do anything. I don't understand kicking the ball halfway there before you have, the play set up, before you know what's going on. It doesn't... In government so frequently, like they like to act before getting all of the information. It's just like, what could more information hurt? You know what I mean? So that's where I am there. So that's what will happen. They'll then go through 31, 32. All right, folks. We'll talk about the budget stuff here in just a second, but this is the biggie. So back about 2 weeks ago, I was told by a couple of different people, but one of the people I'm going to throw right under the bus. I was told by my newest partner in crime on the other program that will be dropping on Saturday, September 27th at 3 p.m. I was told by a couple of different people, one of those people being Rachel Clark, said, "Hey, I've heard scuttlebutt that the mayor, is getting ready, now that he owns the council, he's getting ready to go before the council and start the process of building another fire station, rebuilding another fire station, not building a new fire station, but building, redoing, reconstruction, total new construction, knocking down a building or whatever, a new fire station for $9 million. And the other one's not done. This is exactly what they were going to do. They wanted to do two stations for $18 million, and people, pitched a bitch about it. And everyone thought that was insane. Everybody thinks that one station for $9 million is insane, but 2 stations for $18 million is totally nuts. So we got them backed off for that. And I'm like, man, that would be crazy. But he owns the council now, so maybe so. Maybe so. And then I was going through this today, and I saw this. Resolution 1625. A resolution of the City of Muncie, Indiana, relating to the financing of a fire station project and approving a form of taxpayer petition in connection therewith. And I thought, what the hell does that mean? So I didn't just want to assume. I figured I would take some time and figure it out and try to figure out what was going on. So I wanted to take a little bit of time, and I did, and this is what I found. Resolution 1625, ladies and gentlemen, says, A resolution of the City of Muncie, Indiana, relating to the financing of a fire station project and approving a form of taxpayer petition in connection therewith. And this was filed on August 25th, 2025. Whereas the City of Muncie, Indiana, has thoroughly studied and considered the acquisition of construction, equipping, financing, and leasing of a new fire station to be located at 600 North Tillotson Avenue in the city to replace the existing fire station number 5. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, this is the fire station on Tillotson on the west edge of Ball State University. It's the fire station that's going to be between Riverside and University. It's the fire station that's just nestled there in Christie Woods. Okay. Oh yes, Charlize, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. You are 100% correct. Matter of fact, we're even going to put this up on the board because that's a very, very important statement. My mental notes tell me I said months ago the new fire station under construction for $9 million would be a prototype for more stations. Oh yes, I said the same thing. A lot of people have mentioned that and were very concerned because they had already had the plans to do this. And if you want me to tell you how I know, stay tuned. Okay. So this is the station there. It's 5s at Ball State, the Ball State station. Whereas the city council finds that the city should now commence the process necessary to provide for the financing and leasing of the project under the provisions of Indiana Code 36.1.10.6.1.120, which I believe is probably, give me one second. I believe that's probably the bot agreement. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to look that up really quickly. 110. This is where it sucks not having Kate. Okay, this is a lease purchasing structure. That's 36.110. Okay, let's see what the other is. 6-1.1-20. Okay, this talks about taxation. And then the other. So, okay, so it's just about, we're going to read more about this then. All right, whereas pursuant to the act, the council finds that it's necessary to recognize Muncie's Edit Building Corporation or such other building corporation as the mayor may designate the building corporation and Indiana Nonprofit Corporation as the issuer of bonds in the par amount not to exceed, are you with me, ladies and gentlemen, not $9 million, but $11.5 million. $11.5 million. Not 9. Not 9 million. We're now building one station for $11.5 million. We all thought that building one station for $9 million was insane. Now we're building one station for $11.5 million. Okay. Not to exceed $11.5 million to finance the project to be leased to the city in accordance with the act and approve a form of taxpayer petition in support of the acquisition, construction, equipping, financing, leasing of the project. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Common Council, the City of Muncie, Indiana, as follows. Section 1. The council hereby recognizes the building corporation as the proposed issuer of the bonds to finance the project to be leased by the building corporation to the city in accordance with the act. The council hereby approves that the form of taxpayer petition in support of acquisition, construction, equipping, financing, and leasing the project pursuant to the act as attached hereto Exhibit B, taxpayer petition. The mayor, the controller, and the clerk of the city and any other designees are each hereby directed to make counterparts of the taxpayer petition, together with instructions with respect thereto, available to any taxpayers of the city requesting copies of the same. The taxpayer petition may be circulated in one or more counterparts by taxpayers of the city for signatures by other taxpayers of the city, and shall be filled with the mayor, the controller, and the city clerk, and any of their designees. Upon receipt of at least 50 taxpayer signatures on the taxpayer petitions, the controller, the clerk, shall file the taxpayer petition, including counterparts thereof, with the Delaware County Auditor for certification. The council hereby authorizes the mayor, the controller, and the clerk, together with the city municipal advisor, legal counsel, bond counsel, underwriter, and such other staff members and the consultants as they deem necessary, to take all steps necessary under the act to carry out the intent of this resolution, including the acquisition, construction, improvement, equipping, financing, and leasing of the project. The council hereby declares its official intent pursuant to Treasury regulation, Indiana Code, and to reimburse the city for costs incurred in connection with the project prior to the issuance of bonds by the building corporation to finance the cost thereof. This resolution shall be in full force and effect from form after its passage by the Common Council and approval of the mayor of the city as required by law. And the counselor who put this forward, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than Dale Basham, because he puts every one of the mayor's ordinances through. As a matter of fact, I've not seen another Republican counselor do anything else. Dan goes directly to Basham. He's the one that does it because he's the voice in the vote for the mayor. Voice in the vote. Voice in the vote. Okay. Now, I want you to go down here and look at this. All right. Here is the rendering of this project. Oh, look at this. Well, this was the rendering that they gave out to everyone back a year and a half, 2 years ago. This was first made on 7/22/2022. This was made by RQAW. This is when they were doing the bot deal. This is one of the renderings that they made in conjunction with the other one when they were going to do two of them for $18 million. So it's not like this is like something new or whatever. Okay, this is something that Dan has just been waiting on for the right time to do it. And I'll be honest, I don't think that this is the right time. How I want to hear how Dan thinks that this is the right time to do this. What I feel like might be more fiscally responsible would be to take $5 million and go out and do some reconstruction to what we've got. You know what? Let me tell you this. This is the reason this is going to be 11.5 million and not just like a regular station is because it has the tower. It's got the truck that can go up and fight high-rise buildings. Well, let me ask you, how many large skyscrapers, high-rise buildings do we have in the city of Muncie? Anybody? Anybody? Do you know where in the city of Muncie we have buildings that are larger? Are you all at the same time yelling at the screen, Ball State University? Because if you are, you're right. What I don't understand is Dan has been chopping at the bit and doing all this crazy shit, pushing stuff through and bending over backwards to get filled up around the rear and back around the front again, whatever he's been doing from Ball State University every time. So he says, I want to make Ball State and Muncie collaborate. I want to improve the relationship with the city of Muncie and Ball State University. He talks like we've been at war for a period of time. Ball State and Muncie has a great relationship. What I want to know is why can't we go to our buddies, our pals at Ball State University and say, hey, look, we have this truck and we park it in your backyard because it's fighting the fires that could potentially occur in your neck of the woods. So how about you throw in the money for this station? And then if we have a little extra cash floating around, which I thought we didn't, we could take that money and maybe talk about building a new station. Muncie's to the point where we probably need a new station. We've got 7 stations. We probably need to build an 8th station. Probably needs to be somewhere out on the northwest of town where all the most important people are. Dan must be planning a skyscraper. That's probably pretty important for me to put up. Okay. So do all the financial dots connect? So as of now, I can't tell you. I don't know. That's what we're going to have to get. I'm going to start asking a bunch of questions. You know, we need to talk to the council, find out what they're saying about this. That's why the budget's going to be really important. We're going to go through the budget here. But I found this is going to be talked about. This is going to be introduced at Monday's meeting. Has anybody heard anything about this other than my couple of sources that have told me about it? Anybody? So this is just the early stages of this. But I want to remind everybody that what generally happens is people don't pay attention. We don't pitch enough of a bitch at the beginning. We get halfway through it, and then people start waking up and complaining, and they're like, well, you weren't saying anything about this at the beginning. So I'm staking the flag. Hey, I'm saying something about this right now. I just need to know what's going on because, as Total Madness said right here, another comment that needs to go up. He was just on the steps of City Hall crying about not having enough money. He's been on Fox 59. He's been on WTHR. He's been on Wish TV and everything in between, talking about not having enough money. This, to me, seems like a want and not a need. Very close to what the original fire station was, a $9 million station. Where there are cities in Indiana that have built 2 stations for $10 million. We're building one for $9 million, and then we want to build another for $11.5 million. So I'm going to take you down through the rest of this paperwork. The other paperwork here is from there. It just shows like the renderings, more renderings. Oh yeah. And you want me to tell you, well, let me show you down here. Exhibit B, taxpayer petition. Here's this instruction regarding the circulation of a petition to enter into a lease. Those who circulate a lease petition to obtain signatures must be taxpayers of the city, which is to enter into the lease. Whoever circulates a counterpart of the petition and executes the verifying affidavit attached thereto must also sign the petition. Only one person can circulate each counterpart. Counterparts cannot be passed from one person to another. One person cannot sign for another. A husband and wife owning real estate jointly are each qualified signers, and it is not necessary for each to sign in order for the other to constitute a valid signer. However, each must sign separately if the signatures are to be counted as two separate signatures. In such cases, the wife should sign not as Mrs. Joe Jones, but should sign her own name, thus Mary Jones. The signatures must be obtained in the presence of the person circulating the counterpart. And then here's this. We, the undersigned taxpayers of the City of Muncie, Indiana, hereby petition the Common Council of the city to enter into negotiations for 1, the acquisition, construction, and equipping of a nonprofit building corporation of a new fire station to replace the existing fire station number 5 and all necessary related improvements and equipment in connection therewith. 2, leasing by the city of the project from the building corporation for the purpose of financing the project, and 3, the issuance of bonds by the building corporation to pay certain costs of the project. We believe that a need exists for such facilities, and that the city cannot provide the necessary funds to pay the cost of such facilities required to meet the present needs. We urge that actions be taken as promptly as possible. Why? Why is that? Why is this a thing where that should be stricken from the minds of all government officials as promptly as possible? Never a more Ridenour statement if I've ever seen one. This petition may be circulated in several counterparts. Of all said counterparts are to be considered as constituting one petition. And then, you know, they've got a space for 60 signatures, even though it's needed 50. They'll probably get more. How many Cory Bory Finks are going to line up? How many Dan Addicts out there? I cannot wait to get this signature sheet, because as soon as they get it, you bet your ass I'm going to go through the names, and we're going to go through the names line by line, looking them up in Beacon and making sure everything is legit. And I guarantee you, this is going to be the single number one most list of Dan Addicts anywhere. Cannot wait to see this. So that's that. If you haven't heard about this, let me ask you, have any of you heard about this from your city councilors? Have any of you heard about this? Anybody? I talked to a handful of city councilors in the last couple of days, and I hadn't heard about this from one of them. Does that mean they haven't looked over the agenda yet? Have they not looked over their packet? Have they not even picked them up? What's going on? Are they keeping it a secret? It doesn't matter, because it's all downhill. Doesn't matter what we want. Doesn't matter what we say. It's going through no matter what. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if we have the money. Doesn't matter if we need it. Doesn't matter if it's stupid. $11.5 million. So just keep that up there in your mind meat, and talk to your people. Yep. That's it. Absolutely connects that. Seems like your show last week is correct, that the leadership with the mayor and the chief are imbeciles. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's just it's so crazy. So yeah, that's who's printing the money. Yeah, yes. So that's where we are with that. Okay. Now it's time to move on to, well, really quickly, before we move on to the budget, I'll talk about the very last thing. Then we'll spend the rest of the time on the budget. The only other thing I have to say is I have found over the last 2 weeks that the city council, and I want to state this, meaning Jeff Green, Nora Powell, Brandon Garrett, Sarah Gullion, Jerry Dishman, Harold Mason, Rose Selvey, Dale Basham, and Billy McIntosh are yet again having trouble with their emails. Good night, Alice, sir. See you tomorrow, brother. Why is it the start of the end of the year for 2026? We're in the downhill swing here of 2026, and we still have 9 elected public officials who feel that it's okay for their council emails not to work. I talked to one of them today, and they said, "Well, I answer to everybody." And I said, "Well, no, you don't. You didn't answer to me because you're not getting it. We did a test. I sent an email while I was on the phone with this person, and the person did not get the email. Over a period of time, did not receive it. Sent it, test, did not get it." I said, "So if you're not getting that, you don't know how many other people out there are contacting you you're not getting. And to those people, you're not answering your emails. It's ridiculous that in 2025, 2026, whatever, I keep saying 2026 because we're dealing with a budget. It's 2025. Too many numbers breaks my brain. Whatever year it is, it's ridiculous that emails aren't working, because I have had a working email since 99. Okay. I didn't have this much trouble getting my emails from AOL. So I don't know what needs to happen. I don't know if it's the city's deal. I don't know if it's the city councilors. I don't know if they need to come up with, or maybe I need to push an ordinance where they all come up with a counselor from District 1 Gmail, counselor from District 2 Gmail, or something, because it's absolute horse shit. Absolute horseshit that their emails are causing as much chaos as they do. And I'm going to tell you something. It's not just Dale Basham. It's Jerry Dishman. It's Brandon Garrett. It's Jeff Green, Dale Basham, Harold Mason, Billy McIntosh. I've not got emails from, I don't think, any of those people. I'll go back and look. I think I've got 1 or 2 from Billy Mack. But I don't know that I've ever received an email from Jeff Green. And the fact that he feels, and I'm going to bring this up Monday, and he's going to sit there and stare at me just like Basham did. And he's not going to understand what I'm talking about because he just knows I don't live in his district. And I'm going to say, I don't give a shit about your district. You're an elected official. I'm not in a good mood, as you can tell. As an elected official, it's ridiculous that you are either not smart enough, not competent enough, or simply just don't care enough. And I want to know which one it is. Please let me know. None of them are excusable. None of them are okay. And they're all the same to me. Five rubber stamps. Absolutely. I don't know. It's frustrating. Okay. So I've had AOL, no problems for 4 years. Hey, I was talking with my stepfather the other day because my stepfather still has an AOL account. And I heard that AOL is going away on September 30th. And I thought that meant that just everything would be done. But I looked into it. And they said that even though the company AOL is not going to exist any longer, you can still use your AOL account as long as you at least sign into it once in a 12-month period. So, like, I have an AOL account, but I don't know the password. I could probably figure it out and go through the process of figuring it out, but I don't care. So it can just go away. I'm okay with that. But he actively uses it, so he gets into it daily, which isn't a problem. But if there's anybody out there that has an AOL account that like uses it periodically, just remember, here's the more you know thing. If you want to keep your AOL account, then you are going to need to sign into it once in a 12-month cycle. All right. So now what we've all been waiting for, now that the email deal, we're going to address that Monday, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Now that we've got that taken care of, and we know what we're going to fight them on about resolution 1625 at the council meeting. We're going to talk about that and do all that stuff. Now we have budget stuff to talk about. Okay. Let me get this pulled up here. Let me get ready to put this on the screen. Now, when I pull this up on the screen, I'm going to blow it up and make it the whole page, so my face will go away. You'll be able to hear me, but you will not be able to see me, because it's more important that you hear about the budget stuff than anything. Okay. So the first thing, again, this had to be wait, when did this get file stamped? Let's take a look at this. Let's see when this got file stamped. 25th. Okay, this technically needed to be file stamped by Monday at noon in order to be on the agenda. And I'm going to show you here, first and foremost, what's going on. Okay. They stamped this part, which this is the back half of it, because that's what needed to be stamped. They stamped where Dale Basham put it forward. Okay. Dale Basham put it forward, and it was file stamped. This is where they sign, and they do. This is where the attorney sign. This is 25 pages here. Okay. But it wasn't the entire budget. They do this every year. They get down to like the last minute and always cause a problem. And I don't, for the life of me, understand it. I don't understand it. Here was the main part of the meat. This was the actual budget, what you're seeing here. And this was filed on Tuesday. So technically, they didn't file it in the deadline yet again. You know? It's like, what are we talking about here? You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's not anything important. It's just It just is what it is. You know what I mean? It's not like anything important. Okay. So I want to show you. I'm going to pull this up and show you. This. One second here. Okay. Okay. Here we go. So here, ladies and gentlemen, is the budget from this year. This is the budget from last year. Or excuse me, it gets convoluted. This is the budget they approved last year. This is this year's budget. This is the 2025 budget. Okay. So I just want you to take a look. When you go down here, this is what this means. Okay. So last year, they stated that they wanted the deputy controller last year. They wanted him to make $60,303. Okay. But you will know that they went through and at the very end, they zeroed him out. All right. So he didn't end up making that money. Okay. He didn't end up making this money. All right. So what we've got here, I'm going to jump over to here. This year, they are saying that the controller should make, Dan is saying the controller should make $62,670. Okay. So right there, Dan is saying you guys didn't fund him last year, the deputy controller. You did not fund him. You gave him $0, and I had to pay him out of edit. However, this year, not only do I want to give him the $60,303 from last year, but I also want to give him a $2,670 raise. And what blows me away about this is the same council that voted last year to unfund this man, they voted 6-3. They voted 6-3 to unfund him. Six to 3 to unfund him. This year, they're going to vote 5-4 to fund it. They're going to fund him. They will not get this unfunded. And my question about this, like, look, I don't give a shit that it's Matt Wegley. I don't care. I don't care if they fund him or don't fund him. My question simply is, And you understand why people have this question, right? You should have this question. Why did 9 people last year vote the way they did? And this year, those same 9 people are voting, but 2 of them are changing their mind. And I want to know why. Not just in the deputy controller, okay? Not just in the deputy controller. So essentially, I tell you what, I'm gonna spin these around here 1 second because I'm looking at this backwards. Give me a second here. I'm gonna pull my head up here, and I'm gonna get rid of, remove this. I'm gonna do this. See, this is why I needed Kate. 1 second. I'm gonna delete this, and I'm going to pull up. Oh, we know why. Yeah, but it's even more than that. It's even more than that. And if you like this show, or you're getting something from it, or you maybe hate me, hit the like button and send over a little love my way. I would appreciate it. Love or hate me, it don't matter. Just hit that like button either way. But to me, it goes beyond that. Even it goes beyond the politics. It just goes beyond saying, "Well, I'm going to do what Dan wants," because here's the deal. I'm a Republican, or not I'm not a Republican. I hate when I slip up and say that. I'm a right-leaning conservative person, but I call Dan shit out all the time, and a lot of other Republicans, a lot of other people on the right. Okay, call it out all the time. Donald Trump, Braun, Beckwith, Kyle Pierce, Corey Criswell, Rotz, Gaskell, Banks. It does not matter. I have no problem. I can call out Democrats too, but I just feel like, man, I really need to clean up my own yard here first. Once I get my people in check, then I can start worrying about others. Now, if a Democrat does something stupid, but in this situation, like I get it, whatever. If Jerry says, I don't like Andrew Dale, I don't like what Andrew Dale's doing with the Democrat Party. Okay, whatever, great, whatever. But he's had a major issue with Dan for the last 2 terms. So just because he doesn't like Andrew Dale doesn't mean he's like, okay, it's like Red Rover, send Ridenour on over. Jerry's like, I only have room for so many people in my life. I don't like Andrew Dale anymore. So now that I got Andrew Dale out of there, now I can fit Ridenour in. He still didn't like things that Ridenour did. Isn't it possible for Jerry to say, I don't like Andrew Dale and I don't like Dan? I don't like what Dan does. And I don't like, isn't it possible for him to do that? Why does he have to be an ass kisser? Yeah, right, Charlize. Tell me how it adds up. Now, look, we're not even anywhere yet. All right, here we go. I realized what my error was. My error was that I put the wrong thing up in the wrong screen. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this up here. Give me 1 second. And I'll do that. Okay, great. Okay, let me pull this up. Sorry, folks. Give me just 1 second here. We're getting this pulled up here. It's over here. Okay, we'll do it like this then. Hmm. 2023 budget, 2026 budget, and then there's the amendment. There we go. Desktop. Place. Okay. Here we go. Okay. This will make it so much easier now. Sorry. Share screen. Window. Share. Okay, right like that. Here we go. So now, what I'm going to do while we're going through this, on my monitor, I will pull up 2025, and I'm just going to show you, and I'm going to tell you what the difference is. And if there's anybody that says, hey, I don't believe you, and you want me to show you something, tell me that, and I will show you the difference. So what I'm doing is I'm going to show you the current budget, and we'll go through it. And if there's something specifically that I need to change, then I will show you in real time. Okay. So we'll start here with, we'll come back to this. This is where the majority of stuff is. All right. So here they're giving the deputy controller they're giving him a $2,000 a $2,600 raise, and they're actually funding him, and that's going to more than likely go through. The controller is going up from 67,148. He's going up to 69,786. Okay. Let's see here. Overtime's always interesting to look at. Overtime's going from 51,130 to 53,352. Why is there a whole bunch of overtime in the controller's office? There shouldn't be a whole lot of overtime in the controller's office. That's pretty crazy to me. Okay. So let's go down here now to, all right, we're in the clerk treasurer. Okay. I know this is probably going to be another situation where there's going to be a blow up, because I know that the clerk, I've been hearing that the clerk wants a bigger raise than what they're wanting to give her. Of course, there's been a major battle between Dan and the clerk forever. Last year the clerk was at 59,687, and this year they're paying her 61,896. Okay, let's go down to overtime. $2,000 for overtime last year. This year they're giving them $500 for overtime. That's really strange. What is going on in the controller's office that they have $53,000 scheduled for overtime? That's really crazy. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Mayor this year is $91,034. Last year he was 89,142. 89,142. Stumblefoot. So the mayor, I mean, you would think that he would be saying, I'm going to do what I can to make things better. I'm not going to take a raise. I don't need a raise. That's right, Charlize. That's an interesting comment there. Didn't the mayor said some would be moved to part-time? Overtime should be less. Yeah, right. So what's going on there? Okay. Deputy mayor is still 0. They're not bringing back the deputy mayor, which I find interesting. Okay. Out of all of that stuff. Look at this. Executive secretary. Getting going from 44,100 to 47,300. Overtime in the mayor's office, $4,100. Why? Why? Okay. That's the merit commission. I'm not really caught up about that. City council. Yeah, let's look what's going on here at city council. Okay. So city council's getting a little bit of a bump up. 135,308 divided by 9. That's $15,000 a piece. So city council is getting $15,000 a piece. It's always interesting. Okay, so in their health insurance, they're budgeting 0. Dan has budgeted 0. Last year they budgeted $18,250. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. And that'll be interesting. They've budgeted $3,000 for the ethics commission. That's interesting. Okay. Now, let's see. Board of Works. So, let's go on down here. Personnel director. Okay, here's a big one. Personnel director. Personnel director is going from 63,083 to 66,804. Personnel specialist. That's interesting. What the hell is a personnel specialist? They're staying about the same. Matter of fact, they've taken some money from the personnel specialist. Personnel specialist last year got paid $47,201. This year they're saying $47,157. That's interesting. Oh, interesting. They don't have any overtime in the personnel. I mean, they shouldn't have overtime in the personnel. They've $0 in health insurance. That's interesting. What did they get last year? Last year they had $25,896. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay. City court judge. Okay. A minor bump up, nothing major. City court judge. Building department. Building commissioner. Let's see what his increase is. His increase is going from 59,216 to 63,310. What are you talking about, Stumblefoot? Where in a, like, give me a specific instance where you're talking about electricity. So, like, are you talking about for the city court judge? Where are you talking about? The electricity was $1,500 last year. It's $1,500 this year. Because what this is they all have to pay a part. They all have to pay. They can move that around a little bit because what that's talking about is the electricity for the city hall building, and each department owns a little bit of that, so they have to. It has, but maybe they've increased it in Dan's area and not in the cities. We'll look through that and I'll find out where it's increased, because I'm sure it has increased in some other area. I'll look because it hasn't in the city court judges. All right, let's go down here and look at another place. Okay. Let's look. Okay. Electric. We'll look at we'll do this. Okay, so all right. So right here, it went up a lot here. So last year, the electric for the building commissioner was $2,446. So $2,446. And this year it's $11,000. So they're just bumping it around. I mean, that's not that big a deal, because at the end of the day, City Hall overall has to pay an electric bill, and what they do is they just divide it up by departments. No, not yet. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Well, hell yeah, they're good salaries. Yes. And imagine all the people that's working less than 30 hours. No. Look, right here is 11,000. You see 11,000 for electric. And this is for the year. This is for the proposed budget 2025. Last year, I'll show you here. This is one you're calling me on, so I'm going to have to show you. Last year, it was $2,446. Now I know that just happens to be the same number as the natural gas for this year, but it was just down below it. So that's what I think probably the issue was there. Okay. So going back to it here, civil rights director, 58,572. Pretty substantial raise there, about a $4,000 raise there. That's okay. Electricity, see, the civil rights electricity is only $840 because there's only like one or two people in the office. There's not a whole bunch going on, so they divide that up. Okay. All right. All right. So here's the fire department. Now, this is what I'm always frustrated with, and I hate that they do this. They put under the chief $206,443. Last year, under the chief, it was $190,589. Now, that's not just the chief. If you'll notice, there's 0 in the deputy chief, 0 in the battalion chief, 0 in the chief inspector, 0 in the captain, 0 in the technician, 0 in the training officer, 0 in the lieutenants, 0 in the inspector, 0 in the drivers. I hate that. I hate that they do that. They need, or they should, in my opinion, divide that up and put it in there right. Maybe the council will. I don't know. I mean, the council will go over the numbers, so I'll try to write them down and fill them in. But that's weird. And then they do the same thing with the firefighters here. They put it all in one grouping, and it is what it is. Now that's interesting. Hey, madness person. Okay, this is interesting. So last year in overtime, they had $500,000 in overtime. $500,000 in overtime. This year they have $0 in overtime. Total madness. That's interesting. $500,000 in overtime for the 2025 budget. Yeah, Charlize. 0 overtime this year. You got to try to find where they hide money too. They say they don't, but I believe that you know what they do. Okay, so they do the same thing here with the police department. Okay. So we've got Chiefs, 300,888.25. Okay. Last year, the Chiefs were $271,084. Wow. Okay, the police social workers stayed the same, 65,000. 65,000 across the board. Wow, what's going on here? So they went from the front desk officer making 38,708 to now they have zero for the front desk officer. That's interesting. Overtime for police. Last year it was 405,000. This year it's 421,000. Interesting. Here, all right, here you go, Stumblefoot. Here's their clothing allowance, $157,500. That's the same. Ammo and training, $95,000. Dog food, $2,500. That's bull crap. It should, in my opinion, should be way more than that for the canines. Their half of the electric bill is $50,000. Here's your ballistic vests. Ballistic vests, $30,000. Okay, animal control superintendent. That's Josh Talby. He's going from 56,763 to, wow. Wait, what? $56 to $64. What's going on there? Oh, assistant director. So they still don't have an assistant director. All right, this is where it's going to get wild to see what they're doing for food. For the animal control. Food and litter. All right. Let's go down and see what they're doing for food and litter. $35,000. Last year it was $25,000. Still not enough, but at least they went up $10,000. That's good. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here's the communications director. Last year, they wanted the communications director, which they call Channel 60 Public Access. Completely ignorant. They need to fix that in my mind, but whatever. It's because the channel, it is what it is. So their communications director, which is called Channel 60 Public Access Channel 60 Director, last year they wanted that paid $46,267. They voted 6-3 to unfund it. And then they voted 6-3 to pass the budget. This year, they're going to vote 5-4 to give that position $52,342. 53,342. So that's a $7,000 raise. They're giving the communications director a $7,000 raise. 46,267 last year to 52,342 this year. A $7,000 raise for the communications director. Thoughts? Thoughts? I just don't understand. I want to know. I'm going to look right at Jerry Dishman. I'm going to look right at Brandon Garrett. I'm going to say, what changed in your brain head? What changed? What changed? That is definitely a sizable raise. Absolutely. Look, well, yeah. Yes, it is. It's specifically sizable when you think that it's actually going from $0 to 50. It's a $52,000 a year jump. But it's not like she wasn't getting paid. She's been getting paid out of the mayor's edit. So she was getting paid. Okay. Capital projects, 500,000. Other services charge. I mean, I want to know what these other services and charges are. I get so sick of seeing that. That is exactly true. Exactly true, David. They're doing some weird stuff here. Man, I'm working on a couple investigations, man, into things going on in city that's would turn people's stomach if they knew it. I just got to wait for a couple pieces to get into the right places. Okay. Let's see. Snow and ice removal. You saw that. $130,000. Last year. Stumblefoot. Jackie, we're gonna that I think that's coming up right next. Yeah, David, that's exactly right. Let's see here. Snow and ice removals going up $10,000 from $120,000 to $130,000. All right. Patching and paving install. Last year was $190,000. This year it's $200,000. Okay, here's the park. Okay, park superintendent. What was Jackie's question? Any increased funding for the parks and recreation department? Okay, let's take a look at what's going on with the park all the way across. Let's take a look. A park. So, wow. Okay, what do we got going on here? Tui Pool concession worker is going from, it's staying the same, $30,000 across the board. Foreman is going from $54,644 last year to $54,644 to $58,536. Secretary 1 is going from $38,200 to $40,009. Wow, your part-time's dropping. Your part-time's going from $90,000 this year to $70,000 next year. That's interesting. Park superintendent's going from $64,591 to $69,746. Program director's going from $45,620 to $51,386. Urban foresters going up. Okay. Overtime. Let's see what the overtime was. Overtime staying the same at $10,217. Health insurance dropped a lot. Went from 180. It went last year from 180,836 to 145,759. Interesting. Summer recreation. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Summer recreation last year, $209,360. This year they've got it at $89,737. That'll be a big cut. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. I just don't think that'll stay like that. That'll be very interesting. It went from 2, but they can't raise it. I don't know what they're going to. Oh, man. I don't know. They're going to have. That's interesting. Something to that effect. Snubblefoot. I'll have to go back and listen to it. Summer recreation. That's crazy. That's a Or was it there? Summer recreation. 89. 737. That is a decrease in summer recreation by 119,623 decrease in summer recreation. Okay. Going on down. All right. Chemicals. Do we pool chemicals? Let's look what's going on here. I wonder. That's all staying the same. Skate park at West Side, 40,000. I don't really know what they would be. Oh, there's zero, 40,000 last year, zero this year. They wouldn't need to be anything, really, I don't think, because it's done. Repairs, maintenance, trees, and weeds, 27,000, 20,600. See what it was last year. Yeah, that's all staying the same. Okay, let's see where we are with that. Everything's about the same there. Yeah, Jackie, that's going to be real crazy to see how they deal with that. That's going to be real big. Labor. Okay, so cemetery basically staying the same, going up by about $1,000 or $1,500 in a couple places. Okay, here's the edit fund. 5,826,160. Take a look at the edit from last year. See, it's interesting to me because they're talking about like, oh, he's putting a lot of edit back in things. He's going to put a lot of edit in places. Except the edit for last year was 4,595,000. The edit for this year is 5,826,160. So that's interesting. Okay, Prairie Creek. Take a look at Prairie Creek here. Part-time lifeguards are going down from 20,000 last year to 0 this year. Security was 40,000 last year. It's 35,000 this year. Part-time's the same. Overtime's the same. Everything else there is basically the same. Everything's there's the same. Okay. Continuing ed is the same. Clerk's God. 35,000. Everything's staying the same there. Hold on. Okay. Wait a minute. I hit the wrong thing here. Let me get back to where we were. Okay, so adult probation is 50,000 this year. Last year it was 0. The law enforcement continuing education fund is 27,000. Perpetuation fund for the clerk's office is 35,000 last year. It's 30,000 this year. MPD training fund is 3,000. 3,000. I don't know what that is. That's very low. And the towing looks low to me too. Wow. 25,000 the same. It's the same. All right, this is going to be interesting. This is the EMS chief. Okay, so the EMS chief is going up from 68,184 to 70,911. Paramedics. The paramedics are actually dropping. The paramedics last year was 850,212. This year it's 793,245. Wow. Last year they were doing ambulance shift pay 87,600. This year they've got it at 0. I'm sure that will have to change. That's wild. Like they normally will give you a little bit more on the hour if you work like, I don't know what that would be. Because they work a 24-hour shift. So I don't know exactly. I'll have to talk with my people and find out what that is. Okay. Overtime. Staying the same. I don't know how they're going to do that, honestly, to be honest with you. I don't know how they're planning on that being the same. Okay. So that takes us to the total. Last year was 65,209,286. And this year it is 60,282,811. So we've had a pretty, $5 million drop. 4 point some million. Tell us. July 1st, December 31st, 2025. January 1st to December 31st, 2026. Alpha. That wouldn't surprise me, Tweety Bird. No, there was nothing major. There was nothing major for Prairie Creek. No major changes. The biggest change at Prairie Creek, Jackie, that I saw was the no part-time lifeguards this year. $0 in the part-time lifeguards. Everything else stayed basically the same. It had a minor increase. Everything else, nothing major, but there was like a little bit of increase. So, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the rundown of the budget. We'll obviously know more after the Finance Committee meetings start. The Finance Committee meetings will start tomorrow. The meetings that we will start with tomorrow will be... Give me 1 second here and I will tell you. The Finance Committee meetings tomorrow will go over the court, the animal shelter, the building commissioner, the human rights office, and the Muncie City Police Department. So tomorrow, again, it will be court, animal shelter, building commissioners, human rights, Muncie Police Department tomorrow. Then Friday, it will be the mayor's office, Board of Works, controller, personnel, and the Muncie City Fire Department. And then following, then we'll have a council. Excuse me. I'm backward. That's backwards. Tomorrow's court, animal shelter, building commissioner, human resources, Muncie Police Department. I've got this posted and we will live stream it. That's the 3rd. Then the 5th, Friday the 5th, is mayor, Board of Works, controller, personnel, Muncie Fire Department. We will then have the council meeting on the 8th, and then on the 9th, we will do city clerk, street department, parks department, Prairie Creek, Beech Grove. And then on the 23rd, they will talk about it overall as a whole. And then we will have the meeting then on August 6th. But I could also see them going ahead and voting on it on the 23rd. I don't know. Could be very interesting. See what goes on here. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I think there's going to be some bickering. Alva, Hoosier Municipal Operations isn't covered under the budget because he's paid out of edit, which is contract employee. And so Dan's got like $5 million to pay him, $5 million worth of good monies. I do have a records request into him to find out what exactly he's been up to this summer. Hopefully we'll have an answer to all of that very, very soon. That would be fantastic. In answer to Tweety Bird, when you're saying uniforms out at Prairie Creek, You can't be thinking like a police uniform or a firefighter's uniform. That very well could mean they're buying uniform related items, like they're giving them money for them to have like waders, boots for them to go into the water, for them to have insulated boots for them to go into the water during the fall when they pull out the boat, the docks, or for them to have, hell, I don't know, gas mask and rubber gloves that go up to your nipples when you're cleaning the outhouses or something like that. I don't think that we're specifically looking about the stand at attention, uniform, sharp. No, I don't think it's like that. County Vegas. I think the County Vegas is dead in the water. The Dustin stuff we'll know. We'll get that because there's enough people on the inside that hate him and that hate that Dan puts him forward. Hey, Total Madness, have you been listening the whole time? Or did you leave and come back? Because I have talked through some questions that I think that you probably could have answered. Not you. Where you said goodnight like 3 times, Ella. That's hilarious. So, we'll know more tomorrow. We don't get a talk tomorrow, which is complete bullshit. I'm just going to say it. The whole 4 years that Nora wasn't in charge of the finance committee. So from 2022, no, excuse me. So from 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, the council worked it in such a way that the finance committees were open to the public. The budget is made up of tax dollars. 65 million plus tax dollars. The budget is the single most important thing that the city council does. It's the most important bit of legislation that the council works on and passes. It's the most important thing for the police department, for the fire department, for the street department, for the controller's office, for every little nook and cranny in City Hall. And more importantly, it's the most important thing for the citizens. And to hear them say, well, they just don't want to be bogged down, or it's a bother if they hear citizens. You know what I say to that? You shouldn't be an elected counselor. If you can't talk to the public, you shouldn't be where you're at. You should take every opportunity possible to hear from the public. And right before we close, it's been long, I know, and Kate wasn't here. It's been chaotic. So I'm not going to get crazy. We'll talk about this more later this week. But I want to talk about one thing that happened that's unrelated to the budget. This kind of goes in line with my rant about the if you don't want to talk to the give me a second. If you don't want to talk to the public, give me 1 second here. I want to find where this was. I saw this earlier. Where was this at? Oh. I bet I'm not going to be able to find it. Give me 1 second. We're almost out of here, folks. Just bear with me for 10 seconds. I think this is very important, and I want to start highlighting it. And I don't want to miss it and not get it talked about, because this is very important. What is is there a, oh, see if this pulls up what I'm looking for. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. We'll see. Yep. Right here. Tweety Bird, I will absolutely listen to the commissioners meeting and find out exactly what was going on. Nope, this wasn't it. I saw a post that somebody made. Right here we are. I didn't know about this. I did not know about this, and I'm very, but I knew that. Here's the problem, and I'm going to blame everybody involved. I'm going to blame the Delaware County Republican Party. I'm going to blame the Delaware County Democratic Party. I'm going to blame the League of Women Voters. I'm going to blame the Delaware County Clerk's Office and everybody else involved. I am very involved and stay active and up. Now, I knew about a month ago that the League of Women Voters were going to put on, and look, everybody that says, like, the League of Women Voters, they're leftist leaning, whatever, okay? I know it. Everybody, look, let's just cut it down. Yeah, right, we get it. But that aside, or knowing that in your head, they were going to hold a conference where they welcomed everybody that had a stake in Delaware County vote centers. And they set it up, and I had it on my calendar, and then all of a sudden they canceled it, and it was no longer there. And they invited the Democrat chairman, the Republican chairman, the clerk, and a moderator. Okay? And people can be like, well, look, that's Democrat. That's one-sided. They're blah, 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 blah. Great. Listen to me. If the Republicans of this county are not strong enough to be able to walk into a League of Women Voters event and hold their own, then they should not be in charge. I'll go to any Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Socialist, whatever. I'm not afraid to hold my own. I can hold my own against anybody. I have no problem with that. I don't want weak-minded people out here leading these things, okay? So all of these entities, all those entities I named, I don't think share this information, because at first they did, but then they canceled it. Well, then apparently they rescheduled it for August 28th, which would have been, last Thursday or something like that. I would have went to it had I known it, but I didn't know about it. Well, I want to show you something that I'm very disappointed about. This is about vote centers in Delaware County, which should benefit all voters of Delaware County, all Republican voters, all Democrat voters, all Libertarian voters, all old voters, all new voters, and all people thinking about voting. Okay? I want to show you something that I saw from this. I wish I would have been there, but I didn't know about it. And I normally stay in up to date on this stuff. So they must not have, it must not have been published very well. I'm just going to say that, okay? But I'm not giving them slight here. That's not what this is about. This is what I'm pissed off about. Here is who attended this event. The moderator the Republican clerk, the Democrat chairman. But I want you to look over here. What's this? We see Rick Spengler and Andrew Dale. But why is there no Tim Overton? Why is Tim Overton not in that chair? Why is his ass not in that seat? And let me tell you something. If he had his monthly visitor or his monthly military service, or God forbid he had a death in the family, he has people below him he can delegate that can take his place. He's got a vice chairman. He's got a secretary, a communications director. Moreover, he has two overlords over him that tell him what to do, the mayor and a commissioner. Somebody should have been representing the Republican Party in that seat. Now, someone will say, well, Rick Spengler was there as a Republican. No. Rick Spengler was not there as a Republican. Rick Spengler was there as the elected clerk. Okay? Shame on Tim Overton. Shame on the Republican Party for not having the balls, for not having the guts, for not being men enough or women enough or whoever needed it to be there to show up and do what needed to be done. If you don't like anything that these people are talking about and you think they're crackpots, show up and let them know that. If you think everything's great and it's all come down to one thing and there's just a disagreement over one issue, show up and tell the citizens that and listen to what the people have to say and participate. Now, I've had a good relationship with Tim Overton, and I'm going to continue having a relationship where we talk. I talk to Andrew Dale. I talk to Overton. I talk to all of these people, even people I don't like or people that don't like me. We still communicate. But I'm going to tell you, I am very disappointed in Tim Overton. And I don't care what excuse. There is not an excuse in the world that you can give me, because while I didn't know, and while it wasn't, in my opinion, very well, I'll just say that, very well publicized. I knew about the first one, but then it canceled. Tim Overton definitely knew. And if Tim didn't, someone in the Republican Party did. And I can tell you why, because Rick Spengler's there. While he's not there as a Republican, he is a Republican there as the clerk. So shame on the Republican Party. And it's asinine that we have not got this resolved as of yet. So tuck your slip back in, tuck your balls back in your shorts. And I'm sorry if Brand doesn't like that kind of rude language, or Dan is offended by it, or Tim Overton is, as the preacher's offended by it. I don't care. I'm offended by this milquetoast, bullshit, hide in your mommy's panty drawer type of political bullshit that we have going on. And I'm over it. So that's the end of the rant. That had nothing to do. Tell us why. Wait. Tell us why what? Hold on. What are you talking about? I just now saw this. I don't think it's a money issue. Listen, I'm going to tell you, they're literally down to arguing about the nonsensical thing that I've heard from both Andrew and Tim. And here's the problem. The problem is we can't get these two men in the same room. We need to get these two men in the same room with Rick. And Tim's just like, no, I'm not going to go meet. I'm not going to do it. If we can't do it via email, well, let me tell you, If a party chairman has to only communicate by email, that person should not be the chairman. That's all I got to say about it. That's all I got to say about it. So I'm not done talking about this. I'm just done talking about it for tonight. We've got budget stuff to worry about. Listen, if you're out there and you think that vote centers are a good idea and you're a Republican, you need to give Tim hell for this. No excuse works. No excuse is okay. There is no excuse for this not working, for him not being there. It's just not. There's nothing that can be said. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. Sorry, it was a little discombobulated. Kate wasn't here. Budget stuff is always better when Kate's around, but she's been sick. Hopefully she'll be back to normal here soon. You guys take care. God bless each and every one of you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Have a great Wednesday. Remember, 6 p.m. tomorrow, City Hall. If you want to be part of it, be there. If you can't be there, watch it on our link. You can watch it on the cities, and you can get on and comment on the cities, but don't forget to come on and give us a like and give us a view. I mean, you can watch it for the cities long enough to communicate, but jump on and watch it from our feed, at least for a little bit, and give us the views and give us a like, a comment. You know what I mean? That would be very, very, very helpful. I don't think it needs to be scrapped. I think we need to go through. It's not a trivial thing. Vote centers are helpful. What the argument over is where they're going to have one of these centers, and it's all within the span of like 2 miles. One of them wants at one area, one of them wants at the other area, and it's like, all right, here's the way you do it. Cut the baby in half. Have it in neither of those locations and pick another area. You know what I mean? This is not as hard as they're making it out to be. That's the problem. That's the main issue. So hit the like. Hey, if you guys have not went over and subscribed to the new show yet, I know it's still a ways out. The episode 1 of the Bilbrey and Clark show drops on Saturday, September 27th at 3 p.m. You'll want to head over to the YouTube page, subscribe. The more subscribers we have on the day of the drop, the better it'll be. And we're trying to do some things numbers wise. We're having a great turnout on our Facebook page. We're just needing to get people to go from there, because the difference is this will not be on Facebook. We will share the links on Facebook, but it's all going to be coming from YouTube, Rumble, or the audio podcast format. So the best way to do it's on YouTube, and we'll go from there. You guys take care. God bless each and every one of you. Have a wonderful Wednesday. See you tomorrow at 6, and we'll see you tomorrow at 9. You guys take care. God bless. Good night. I've said that like 5 times. I'm tired. I'm out of here.